The Yonko 100 Beast Kaido. As early as post-NS Lobby arc in 2006, Ichiro Oda begins to foreshadow Kaido through Vice Admiral Garp. He's then directly mentioned by Gecko Moria during the Thriller Bark arc. Yet Kaido's full legendary entrance doesn't happen until 8 years later, in 2015, with chapter 795, titled Suicide. That's a long wait, but when he finally arrived, the hype across the One Piece fandom was absolutely insurmountable. Everyone remembers his initial silhouette, a form that looked nothing like the terrifying force we know now. But that only added to the mystery and mythos. When Kaido dropped from a sky island 10,000 meters above the ground, descending from the sky, he's the guy. The narrator stated, "The strong live and the weak die. That is the only rule of this world." Kaido, searching for a place to die, had survived the impossible, 7 defeats as a pirate, captured by the Navy and the Yonko 18 times, endured over 1,000 tortures, sentenced to death 40 times, hanged, but the rope snapped, guillotined, but the blade shattered, skewered, but the weapon broke. He even sank 9 prison ships. No one could kill him, not even himself. His hobby? Attempting suicide. If that isn't arguably one of the greatest intros of a villain, I don't know what to tell you. This was Kaido, the king of beasts. In a one-on-one fight, Kaido always wins. Land, sea, or air. He was known as the strongest creature alive. Talk about one of the greatest villain introductions in One Piece. To me, in anime or manga. I don't care who you are or what you read. Read and watch One Piece. The theories ran wild before we knew of his devil fruit. Some fans even thought he was a poneglyph, but eventually, Kaido's full story began to unfold. The remaining Straw Hats, Luffy, Nami, Sanji, and Brook, made their way from Whole Cake Island to go to Wano to rejoin the others and aid Momonosuke in reclaiming the land from Kaido's grip. We learned that Kaido had once been a child soldier in the Vodka Kingdom. Forcibly conscripted by the Marines, he escaped to become a pirate, and eventually joined the infamous Rocks Pirates as an apprentice by Edward Newgate, Whitebeard himself, invited him. Kaido fought alongside legends like Charlotte Linlin, better known as Big Mom, during the God Valley incident where the Rocks Pirates were defeated. Big Mom gave Kaido his mythical Zoan Devil Fruit, the fish fruit, model Azure Dragon. It's definitely inspired by the legend of the carp that swims up the waterfall and becomes a dragon. I'm not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese legend, but arguably think of Magikarp evolving into Gyarados. That's pretty much what that is. In chapter 921, fans finally discovered the truth. Kaido was a dragon. One chapter later, in 922, we saw the raw power of his dragon form. After being informed by Basil Hawkins, one of the supernova who had bowed to Kaido, weakling, he flew to the ruins of Odin Castle, where Luffy and Law were hiding. Kaido unleashes his blast breath, a devastating energy beam. Think Gyarados' hyper beam. With his crew seemingly annihilated, Luffy charged in without hesitation. He landed a direct elephant gun to Kaido's head. Excuse me. Standing tall in his massive dragon form, or I should say looming in his massive dragon form, Kaido asked Luffy for his name. As always, Luffy proudly declared his name and that he would be king of the pirates. He dodged another blast breath and countered with an elephant gatling attack. Kaido tanks every hit. Wasting no time, Luffy jumped into Gear 4th and unleashed his Kong Gun Organ. Or Kong Organ Gun. Kaido took it all, pause, and then, with one swing of his Thunder Bagua, he one-shotted Luffy. Just like that. This was the moment fans have been waiting for. Going up against a Yonko is not easy, man. Kaido living up to every ounce of his terrifying reputation. I'm telling you, everybody was shook. We later learned that after Oden's return to Wano, Kaido manipulated him, reducing the great samurai to a laughingstock for years, all to shatter his reputation and control of the people of Wano, and to amass a bigger army, because at that time, Kaido didn't believe he could win. Eventually, Kaido sentenced Oden to death by boiling him in oil, or Orochi sentenced him to death. He struck a deal. If Oden could survive an hour inside the boiling pot, his vassals would go free. Oden lasted the hour, holding up his vassals, mind you. Kaido, recognizing his endurance, ended his suffering with a shot to the head. So remember, Oden did last that hour, holding up all his vassals. And then we jump back to the present, to the raid on Onigashima. Brought Kaido face to face with the 9 red scabbards, minus Conjuro, Big Mom, and five of the supernovas, Kid, Killer, Law, Zoro, and Luffy. So don't forget, Kaido faced the 9 red scabbards. He went against Big Mom. He went against the supernova and Yamato, Kaido's daughter, and a close friend of Ace. Kaido, he fought everybody. Most of the most notable figures in the Onigashima part of Wano. The raid, I should say. Then came Chapter 1000, titled Straw Hat Luffy. The chapter everyone had been waiting for. Luffy landed a red rock in Gear 3 that actually hurt Kaido. Luffy's growth, that solidified Luffy's growth and Kaido's respect for him. Kaido began to consider Luffy among the ranks of Rocks D. Xebec, Shanks, Whitebeard, and Gold D. Roger. But the battles weren't over. After being knocked off of Onigashima, Luffy returned once more. Now mastering Conqueror, well, I wouldn't say mastering, but now understanding Conqueror's Haki infusion, Kaido saw Luffy's rapid evolution in real time. At one point, Kaido even kills Luffy. That was a crazy point in the manga. It was flatline, heart stopped, but Luffy rose again, awakening as Nika, aka Gear 5th. Embodying the sun god, the tone of the battle shifted. Luffy fought with wild cartoonish creativity, embodying freedom itself. Even as Kaido fought, Luffy, the Scabbards, the Supernova, and Yamato, he still used his flame clouds to levitate an entire island. The sheer scope of that battle, the damage sustained, and the relentless will Kaido displayed was on par with a true final boss. In the end, Luffy's final mythic blow put Kaido down for good into the lava. You never know. With Oda, Kaido might come back, Big Mom might come back in Elbaf. Who knows? But even in defeat, Kaido never lost the weight of his legend. To me, at least. This guy sustained so much damage. Big Mom called him a thing. And she's Big Mom herself. Kaido completely lived up to the hype, in my opinion. I don't think he was underutilized. I think we saw everything that Kaido had to give. When you look at how many fights he endured, the damage he sustained, and the enemies he faced, all while keeping Wano under his iron grip, think about it. He was still having the island floating above the Fire Festival. His legend is unquestionable. Oda crafted not just a monstrous powerhouse, but a deeply tragic, driven force of nature. Kaido was more than just a villain. He was inevitable. Word to Thanos, man. Holy crap.